Iran is more than just a country on a map. It's a vast territory where civilizations, religions, and the interests of global powers collide. Great empires were born here, and today, intense political activity simmers beneath the surface. Let's begin with the basics. Iran is located in Western Asia, occupying a key geopolitical position between the Caspian Sea and the Persian Gulf, connecting the Middle East and Central Asia. For centuries, caravans, armies, and merchants have traversed this land. The country's area is immense, approximately 1,648,000 square kilometers. To grasp the scale, Iran is larger than all of Western Europe and twice the size of Turkey. Mountains, deserts, steppes, and fertile valleys combine to create a unique blend of landscapes and climatic zones. In 2025, Iran's population is approximately 92 million, with over 26 million, or about 30% of the population, living below the poverty line. This makes Iran the 17th most populous country in the world. Densely populated cities, vast rural areas, and a complex demographic structure directly influence the economy and politics. Iran is the second largest country in the Middle East, surpassed only by Saudi Arabia. This position amplifies Iran's influence on its neighbors, energy resources, and transport routes, including the Strait of Hormuz, through which a significant portion of the world's oil exports pass. Iran shares borders with numerous countries: Armenia, Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Turkey, and Iraq. To the north lies the Caspian Sea, and to the south, the Persian and Oman Gulfs. These borders and seas present a multitude of challenges, from security concerns to competition for resources. Iran occupies a geostrategic position in the center of Eurasia, directly adjacent to the Strait of Hormuz. This makes the country critically important for global oil and gas trade. Any escalation in the region immediately impacts fuel prices and international politics. In the 6th century BC, the mighty Persian Empire arose here, one of the largest and most influential in history. The Persians built roads, developed administration, introduced advanced laws, and controlled vast territories, stretching from India to the Mediterranean Sea. The name Iran is linked to the ancient Aryans, tribes who settled in these lands. While the Greeks called the region Persia, the local people have referred to the country as Iran for millennia. In 1935, the Shah officially requested all countries to cease using the name Persia and instead call the country Iran, and the name has been used ever since. From 1501 to 1979, Iran was a monarchy ruled by Shahs, absolute monarchs who controlled the country's life and wealth. The last Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, was overthrown in the Islamic Revolution. After the Shah's overthrow, the national treasury of jewels was opened, revealing the Pahlavi crown, adorned with over 3,400 diamonds, including the world's largest pink diamond, the Darya-e-Noor, weighing approximately 182 carats. The Islamic Revolution in 1979 dramatically altered the course of history. The monarchy collapsed after nearly 2,500 years of royal rule, and power shifted to religious leaders. The revolution was marked by mass demonstrations, strikes, and the flight of the last Shah abroad. Ayatollah Khomeini became the symbol of the new Iran, setting the country's course for decades to come. He returned from 15 years of exile in France, and his plane was met by millions. This scene went down in history as the largest public procession in modern Asia. The capital of Iran is Tehran, the largest city in Western Asia, with a population of just under 10 million and over 16 million including its suburbs. It is the center of the country's politics, economy, industry, and cultural life. Tehran stands at the foot of the Alborz Mountains and is located in an active seismic zone, having endured dozens of destructive earthquakes. The city is home to the iconic Azadi Tower, a 45-meter-high symbol of the capital, built to commemorate 2,500 years of the Persian Empire. The official language of Iran is Farsi, the language of ancient Persian civilization, in which the poems of Omar Khayyam and the works of Avicenna were written. In Farsi, Omar Khayyam penned his astronomical treatises, accurately calculating the length of the solar year and laying the foundation for the calendar still used in Iran today. Deserts cover about a third of Iran's territory. The landscape transitions sharply from mountains to barren salt flats, creating extreme living conditions. The main deserts are Dasht-e Lut and Dasht-e Kavir. Dasht-e Lut is particularly well known. In 2005, NASA recorded a record surface temperature of 70.7 degrees Celsius here, the hottest place on Earth. Dasht-e Kavir is the second largest desert in Iran. Its soils are saturated with salts, making agriculture impossible. The climate is extremely dry and hot, with almost no rainfall and temperatures often exceeding 50 degrees Celsius. Although a significant portion of the country is desert and semi-desert, agriculture remains an important part of the economy. It's estimated that 17–20% of the population is employed in the agricultural sector, cultivating crops that can withstand drought and high temperatures. Iran's main agricultural products are saffron, pistachios, dates, grapes, and wheat. Saffron is one of the most expensive spices in the world. In 2014, the price of 1 kilo of Iranian saffron reached $2,000 USD. Iran accounts for 92% of the world's saffron production. These crops are exported worldwide. Iran uses its own solar calendar, developed by Omar Khayyam and a team of astronomers. It is considered astronomically very accurate and differs from the Gregorian calendar. The year begins with the vernal equinox. This is an ancient system preserved since the time of the Persian dynasties. In his calculations, Khayyam determined the length of the tropical year as 365.2424 days, which is more accurate than the Gregorian calendar, with an error of only 1 day in over 5,000 years. The calendar is called Jalali and was previously used in the Seljuk court. It's still used to determine Nowruz, the celebration of the arrival of spring and the new year, which begins precisely at the moment of the astronomical equinox, often down to the minute. Once in the northwest of the country lay the vast salt lake, Urmia. It was considered the second largest salt lake on the planet. However, climate change and unsustainable use of water resources have nearly destroyed it. Currently, about 90% of the water surface has disappeared. At its peak, the lake covered an area of over 5,000 square kilometers and contained so much salt that the density of the water allowed a person to easily float on the surface, like in the Dead Sea. Satellite images from the 2020s show that a significant portion of the former lakebed has turned into a salt flat, from which toxic dust is carried by the wind, threatening the health of people in the region. Iran has launched the Noor 2 satellite into orbit. This launch has raised concerns in Western countries, as Iran demonstrates increasingly advanced missile and space technologies that could have dual uses. The satellite was launched into orbit using the Qased rocket, developed by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The satellite is equipped with surveillance cameras and is capable of taking images of the surface with a resolution of about 10 meters. This is the first series of military satellites launched by Iran, and it is officially stated that they are used for reconnaissance and border monitoring. In ancient times, Iranians created a unique system of underground channels called qanats. These tunnels allowed them to extract and deliver water for tens of kilometers to the most arid regions. Qanats are considered an outstanding engineering achievement and are still in use today. Many of them were built over 2,500 years ago, during the Achaemenid period, and operate without pumps. Water moves only due to gravity. The city of Gunabad is home to the longest qanat in the world, stretching for about 70 km. It still supplies the settlement with drinking water. To combat the lack of rainfall, Iran uses cloud seeding technologies, one way to compensate for drought, although it does not solve the problem of global warming and depletion of groundwater. In Iran, specially modified An-26 aircraft and helicopters are used to seed clouds, spraying silver iodide over the Zagros Mountains. According to official data, these programs have increased rainfall in certain areas by 15 to 20%. The ancient Elamite civilization existed in what is now Iran. Its history dates back to around 2700 BC. Elam is considered one of the cradles of writing, but some Elamite texts remain undeciphered. In the city of Susa, archaeologists found a stele with the Code of Hammurabi, which the Babylonians took as a war trophy. This monument contains some of the earliest known rules, where astronomical cycles were used to determine deadlines and calculate taxes. Persian carpets are known throughout the world. They are not just household items, but also a cultural symbol. Each carpet encodes patterns and symbols that tell the story of a family, a locality, or ancient myths. In Iran, there are masters who pass on patterns only orally. The patterns and their meanings are never written down in order to preserve family secrets. Some carpets are woven to order, and the initials of the owner or the dates of important events are secretly woven into the design, visible only from the back and under specific lighting conditions. Iran possesses vast natural resources. It holds the largest reserves of oil and natural gas, as well as coal, iron ore, copper, gold, zinc, lead, uranium, bauxite, phosphates, and salts. The wealth of its subsoil makes the country a key player in the global commodity market. Iran's climate is diverse, with high mountains and cold winters, hot deserts, temperate plains, and humid Caspian regions. Despite the prevalence of arid and semi-arid conditions, it's one of the countries with the greatest climatic contrasts in the region. Iran has 4 distinct seasons. Spring and autumn have mild climates. In summer, temperatures often reach 40 degrees Celsius, while in winter, frosts down to 20 degrees Celsius are possible in mountainous areas. On average, winter temperatures range from 0 to +7 degrees Celsius. Literacy among the adult population is estimated at 88 to 92%. This is a high figure for the Middle East and is the result of active development of education since the mid-20th century. Major Iranian universities are known throughout the region. Their scientists are developing advanced projects ranging from nanotechnology and satellites to medical research. Sharif University of Technology is called the MIT of Iran, and Tehran University of Medical Sciences is considered the oldest and most prestigious in the Middle East. Many universities collaborate with international centers, including CERN, and train specialists whose work is cited worldwide. Iran and Israel are in a state of intense hostility. In 2025, the conflict escalated into open war. Israel is carrying out airstrikes on Iranian nuclear and military facilities, and Iran is responding with missiles and drones. The United States has had no official diplomatic relations with Iran since 1979. Washington considers Tehran a sponsor of terrorism and continues to impose strict sanctions for its nuclear program and support of armed groups in the region. In June 2025, the United States launched strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear facilities. This decision by President Trump sharply escalated the situation in the Middle East, causing a sharp rise in oil prices and a wave of international protests. The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow passage between Iran and Oman. Approximately a quarter of the world's seaborne oil exports and a third of liquefied natural gas pass through it. This waterway is of paramount importance to the global economy. Any blockade of the Strait of Hormuz would be a global catastrophe. Fuel prices would immediately soar. Supply disruptions would begin. Inflation and transport costs would rise. And political tensions would intensify in all oil-importing countries. In Iran, there are bodies of water that look more like natural laboratories. For example, Lake Darya-e-Namak in the north of the country is known for its surface being covered with hexagonal salt plates during the dry season, like a giant mosaic laid out by hand. Scientists are studying this place because extremophilic bacteria live in the cracks of the salt crust, coloring the water crimson pink. Iran is one of the most mountainous countries in the world. The country is home to Mount Damavand, the highest peak in Asia after the Himalayas. This stratovolcano rises to 5,710 meters and holds a special place in Iranian myths and symbolism. The slopes of the mountain are a unique ecosystem, home to 2,000 species of plants, including endemic tulips and irises, as well as rare animals, the Persian eagle, leopard, and snow partridge. The country is located in a zone of high seismic activity. About 100 earthquakes of varying intensity are recorded here annually. The most notable in 2025 occurred on June 20th, with a magnitude of 5.1 in the northern regions. Iran lies at the junction of the Arabian and Eurasian plates. Their collision shifts the Earth by about 2 to 3 centimeters annually. The country's history includes some of the most destructive earthquakes in the world. In 856, an earthquake in Damgan claimed the lives of about 200,000 people, and in 2003, in Bam, more than 34,000. Because of this, most new buildings are constructed with earthquake-resistant elements, but many older areas remain vulnerable. Iran's nuclear program has been a source of international concern for many years. Despite statements of peaceful intentions, Western countries suspect attempts to create weapons. In May 2025, according to the IAEA, Iran had 409 kilos of uranium enriched to 60%, almost weapons grade. For comparison, about 25 kilos of uranium enriched to 90% is typically required to create one nuclear warhead. At the same time, Iranian centrifuges of the new generation, IR-6 and IR-8, are capable of enriching uranium several times faster than older cascades. Some enrichment facilities, according to Western intelligence agencies, are located in underground bunkers more than 80 meters deep. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, is one of the most influential power structures in the country. It controls significant economic resources, has its own military units, and actively participates in foreign policy. Iran is the birthplace of many outstanding thinkers and poets. Among the most famous are Omar Khayyam, astronomer and poet; Ibn Sina, also known as Avicenna, philosopher and physician; Rumi, Sufi poet; Al-Khwarizmi, the founder of algebra. From more modern times, Abbas Kiarostami stands out as a contemporary film director, winner of the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. Shirin Neshat, artist and photographer, whose works about the place of women in Iranian society are exhibited in major museums around the world. Mariam Mirzakhani, mathematician, Stanford professor, the first woman to receive the Fields Medal, the equivalent of the Nobel Prize in Mathematics, in 2014. Several well-known brands and large companies operate in Iran. Among them are the automakers Pars Khodro and Saipa. Saipa, for example, produces popular models based on older Renault and Kia platforms and exports them to countries in the Middle East and Africa. The Mapna Technological Holding Company builds power plants and railway locomotives and even participates in the development of turbines for nuclear power. The largest online store, Digicala, began with the sale of cameras and over 2 decades has grown into the largest marketplace in the country with millions of products, its own logistics complex, and fast delivery service, which is sometimes compared to Amazon in scale within the Iranian context. Iran is considered the center of Shia Islam. This is the main religious factor that has defined the confrontation with Sunni states in the Middle East, primarily Saudi Arabia, for decades. Iran is home to some of the most important Shia shrines, including the Imam Reza Shrine in Mashhad, which attracts tens of millions of pilgrims every year, and the Jamkharan Mosque in Qom, associated with the messianic expectation of the hidden Imam Mahdi. In Shia Islam, the hidden Imam, or Imam al-Mahdi, is the 12th Imam, who, according to Shia doctrine, did not die but is in a state of occultation, ghaibat, and will return at the end of time to establish justice on earth. This is similar to the second coming of Christ in Christianity. The Shia clergy in Iran has its own network of educational institutions and charitable foundations, which operate parallel to state structures and largely shape public opinion. The national currency is the Iranian rial. However, in everyday life, the concept of toman is often used. 1 toman is equal to 10 rials. As of June 2025, $1 was worth about 42,125 rials. For comparison, the Lebanese pound is even more devalued, with almost 90,000 pounds given for a dollar. Due to hyperinflation, denomination has long been discussed in Iran. It is planned to replace the rial with a new toman, cutting off 4 zeros, but these plans have been postponed for many years. At the same time, Iranians often use dollars or euros in large transactions, and even Iraqi dinars in border cities. Iran combines the heritage of the Persian Empire with Islamic art and modern architecture. Dozens of outstanding historical monuments have been preserved here, recognized as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. There are 28 such sites in total. One of the most famous places is Persepolis, the former capital of the Achaemenid kings of ancient Persia, a gigantic palace complex where royal ceremonies and festivities took place. The ruins of Persepolis symbolize the power of ancient Persia. Isfahan is called the Pearl of Iran. This city is famous for its mosques, palaces, gardens, and bazaars. Naksh-e-Jahan Square is one of the largest squares in the world. The Imam Mosque and Ali Kapu Palace rise above it. In Shiraz is located the historic Aram Garden. It is known for its elegant architecture and ancient cypress trees, which are mentioned in the poetry of Hafez. Nasir ul-Mulk Mosque, known as the Pink Mosque, is also located there. Its stained glass windows create stunning color refractions inside. The morning sunlight transforms the hall into a fairy tale space covered with colorful patterns. In Tabriz is located one of the largest covered markets in the world, the historic Tabriz Bazaar. This is a place of trade and crafts, where caravan routes have crossed for centuries, and where you can still feel the atmosphere of ancient Persia. The Golistan Palace is the former residence of the Qajar dynasty. The architecture of the palace combines Persian traditions and European elements. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and remains a symbol of a cultural transition period in the country's history. Iran is a country with an outstanding cultural contribution. 2 of its citizens have been awarded the Nobel Prize. This is a testament to the high level of science and literature, despite political and economic difficulties. In conclusion, it is important to note that Iran is a place where ancient culture intertwines with modern challenges, where deserts neighbor megacities and historical memory shapes the present.